Alright guys, welcome back to Diablo 3 on Inferno difficulty. We're currently on our way to find Alcarnus because we're chasing Magda, who killed Deckard Cain, and we kind of dislike her for that. And she's also one of Belial's most dangerous servants, I would say. So that's probably another reason we don't want her to be quite as alive as she is currently. Probably going the right way here. I know in the road to Alcarnus we're gonna find a another boss encounter, but it's not one of the major bosses. Now, I guess you could say that it's bad that I'm recording this all in one go. Okay, here we are. I'll clear the area a bit so I've got some space. But the problem is the game actively discourages you. Actually, I won't. The game actively discourages you from basically taking breaks because of the Nephilim stacks. If I were to log out now to take a break and render the video and upload it and wait for feedback, I would lose my stacks. So this guy only had about 800,000 health, which means not an issue. And now this is Alcarnus. Now there's an achievement here, I believe, for saving 8 prisoners in under a minute or something. If this is an achievement you're trying to get,
dare attack me!
I think it's here. I might be wrong, but just in case it is, what you want to do is
look, just over there. I never imagined
kill everything and ignore the prisoners at first, and then once you've killed everything and you can run through here freely without being pestered by enemies, you put on whatever speed increasing skills or items you have. You should best get some.
May your wounds heal swiftly, friend.
I believe 12% is the maximum you can get on boots, but you can also get passive skills on certain classes. I believe monks get another 15% from that, so that would probably be the best class to do it on. And then you just run through and open as many cages as possible, as quickly as possible, and that should be fairly easy to get then. But yeah. I always get the bonus. I just save 8 of them and then ignore the other cages. I have no idea what the bonus actually does. If it increases your reward, I don't know. But it seems like 8 out of 8 is what you need, so that's what I do, and then afterwards I'm fine. And strangely enough, so far the special enemies, the champions and elite groups, still didn't cause much trouble to me. I think here's just another pointless dungeon that has more prisoners in it, which I don't particularly care about. I will identify the rare items though.
Your friend Tyrael. The light of the Seraphim radiates from him.
He was an angel, but he relinquished his power to side with us in our battle.
You have been blessed by many.
So these guys, I guess I'll show it, assuming my Hydra lets them live, which it doesn't. Basically, if you let them do their tapping for long enough, they turn into thralls. But I'm not that keen on actually showing that, so... Okay, I'll not get the Fortune Shrine just yet. I'll actually try to use this smartly and clear the way to Magda and then try and get there as quickly as possible. So I maybe have the Fortune Shrine active when I kill the boss. Okay, the path seems to be clear. which means I'll identify the Oni blade quickly. Again, not that good. I think the coolest items are usually the ones that have attack speed. Well, for weapons, it should have attack speed and, if possible, also increase critical rate or damage. And in here we're gonna face Magda.
No illusions to hide behind this time.
Again, just empty words. That's the thing I really dislike about this game. The bosses, no matter how strong you're punching them, no matter how low you're pushing them, they're always like, I'm going to kill you now, and all your efforts are in vain, and I'm going to be your murderer, and... take that. So, at roughly every 25% health, she's going to turn invincible and summon a few demons.
I don't have enough arcane power. Magda has paid for your death, King. Be at peace, my friend.
She was consumed by shadow. It pains me to see it.
Aside from that, though, she's not very dangerous, as you saw. It's definitely one of the easiest boss fights in the game, I believe. I don't really want that video. Again, these videos, basically, they just recap what just happened, which I don't see the point. Okay, all these will go into storage. This particular item will be identified. And then everything will be sold, and then I'll go back because I've still got some loot.
Today, please look. You won't be disappointed.
She's a bit strange, that particular merchant. I guess it seems to be the normal thing nowadays. If you want to make someone spooky, just make them a little child with an adult's voice, and that. I've seen that so much now. It's getting a bit old, I guess. I mean, it is kind of spooky, but the first time I really saw that was in Fallout 3 when we had that girl in Tranquility Lane with the adult voice, and that was spooky. But then, I guess I saw one too many of these Japanese horror movies with a very disturbed child that was somehow damaged and turned into an angry ghost, and it's a bit tedious. Anyway, that's junk as well, so here you go, little girl.
In her final moments, Magda claimed that at the Kasim
Then they must. The only chance.
perhaps a ship.
So apparently Leah has been captured by the royal guards, so of course, in order to get her out, we're going to talk to the Emperor, whoever is king here. Yeah.
Captain Ravan, the condition.
Ashira, the Emperor.
Captain.
Let them pass.
So now she's going to let us through. By the way, in case anyone's wondering, another spoiler alert coming up, the Emperor is actually Belial.
Let's go. I'll lead you to the palace.
And people have...
You are bold to have sought this audience with me.
Basically, he's Belial, so he's sending his random invisible snakes after us. And these are actually fairly dangerous, so
I knew you'd come for me. We should leave here before more guards arrive.
the problem is mostly that there's so many and they're so close to you. If you're a ranged fighter, that can be a bit overwhelming.
Get out of here. I will cover your escape.
And of course it doesn't help that they make themselves invisible.
I'll explain why when we get there.
So if you are having trouble with that fight, again I recommend manage the health bubbles. What are they called? Health globes? I don't know. The random dropping health bubbles, basically. Just manage these carefully, try not to pick up too many, so you've got some as a backup.
We must destroy their summoning construct.
Yeah, just destroy the demon summoners, and again, similar to the quest just before the Skeleton King, where you have to destroy these pillars. You have to kind of focus on the enemies a little bit, probably, in order to get, well, to get some breathing space, I guess. but don't focus on them too much, because at some point you also need to kill the summoning things. And now the bits in the sewers are actually my least favorite bit in the entire game, because these invisible snakes, they're very problematic, and I dislike the way they... I wouldn't mind the fact that they're invisible. What annoys me is that when they're invisible they can't be damaged. Or at least it seems to me to be they can't be damaged.
This leads to the sewers.
Anyway, we kind of saved Leah.
Mother Adria.
We will find.
And now Adria's alive. Spoiler, spoiler, and we're gonna find her. So we have to go
So
through
Maggie
these
was telling
sewers
the
because...
Somehow I knew my mother was alive. I always knew it.
But you never knew her. Be wary, Leah. Things are not as they seem sometimes.
Yeah, that was a very subtle foreshadowing, I guess. Now, one criticism that has been mentioned about the storyline, which I kind of agree with, Belial is said to be the Lord of Lies, but it doesn't really reflect that much in what he does. I mean, he pretends to be the Emperor, but that's easy enough to see through, because the Emperor has a strange voice, and really everyone would suspect that anyways. And aside from that, his lies are not really that convincing. But he does lie a bit, and he's still the most keen on illusions, I guess, of all the boss encounters you have in the game, so it's not a major point. Some people have gotten very upset about it, and I guess his cunning is not that great, but it's not that bad either, really. Okay, Desecrator, Electrified, Frozen, and Jailer. Okay. Now, Frozen you can usually avoid easily, but of course not if you're being jailed, which is the danger of that particular combination. And basically, Frozen means these crystals appear and they slowly grow, and if you're still in their range by the time they're fully grown, you're gonna be frozen for a while and be unable to do anything. Still, even though I took some moderate damage, that still worked out very well. And let's see what we got. A Quiver. Now, Quivers still have the full attack speed bonus which they had before the nerf, but I think intelligence is pointless to a Demon Hunter. No, increases damage of Hungering Arrow by 10%. That doesn't seem too bad. If only I knew if Hungering Arrow was any good. And here we have a Scoundrel token. I don't use the Scoundrel pretty much at all, so he is very poorly equipped. And look, there's another boss. What is it? Oh, it's just a standard one. Ningish the Death something. And here we have a swarm of flies that is an elite group. That wasn't all of them yet. There's one still missing, which I haven't aggroed yet, I believe. Yep. And it seems very indisposed. Okay, no idea why that one didn't move, but if you encounter a bug like that, feel free to exploit it. There's no reason not to. I mean, I guess you could call it cowardice, but I don't feel bad, because I'm well aware that I can beat these guys in a fair fight, so there's no need to fight fair anymore, since I don't need to prove anything to myself. Okay, so this is item level 63, and all it has is 3 sockets and some very mild health increase. I guess 3 sockets is quite good, but still. These little demon things annoy me because they keep dispersing, so I can't hit them all with the disintegration. Which is of course annoying, since disintegration is my main damage spell. And very successfully so too. Envoy of Belial. Now that's the thing I find, that's actually one of the most, I don't know, inconsistent things about him being the Lord of Lies. There's messengers of his lying around in lots of places, and in the first playthrough you actually find stuff he says, kind of talking about his plans there. And that doesn't seem reasonable.
Adria should be up here.
Yep, she's going to be up there indeed. The Wretched Pit. And these guys are torturing her because they want to find out about something called the Black Soul Stone. Which we're going to find out about as well. So just an easy fight. These hard-coded bosses are usually substantially easier than the random generated one.
My dog.
You know who?
My dog.
This is not the...
So, blah blah blah. Same old stuff, nothing new here. But first, of course, merchant. Take all the useless... Thank you. Take all the useless stuff I found. I think actually what I'll play next is a Demon Hunter, but I won't record that.
Surprised Kane never told you why.
Then it's fake. According to...
I like the game, but really I just wanted to play this Inferno run.
The guards were asking...
No.
Yes!
We must.
Okay.
This is difficult.
Everything.
So, you remember that bit about the Black Soul Stone? Basically, it's a soul stone which contains the souls of currently 5 of the Lords of Hell. Which is everyone apart from Belial and Asmodan at the moment. Now I know Diablo, Baal, and Duriel and Dariel and Duriel. There's a 5th one I'm missing who was in Diablo 2, I believe. I don't know who that was though. Anyway, there's 7 Lords of Hell, 5 of them are captured in that Soul Stone.
I think we may have a visitor up ahead.
And now the plan is to
Listen to me. I cannot
Emperor.
forgive you. Must be headed to the oasis. I can open this gate for you.
and the plan that we developed now is that we want to capture Belial and Asmodan in that particular Soul Stone as well, and then they're all in it and we're going to destroy it. As it turns out, that's just Adria's plan, so she's got all of the souls together and then she can kind of infuse them into Leah and turn her into the Prime Evil. Actually, the first time I played through this, I did not suspect Emperor Hakan until, like, the very end. For me, when my character said, "Oh, we know it's you," I was actually surprised. But, Adria I suspected from the moment I saw her, and that turned out to be right. So...
Didn't see that coming, did you?
I guess that's one of the reasons I don't really agree with that criticism of Belial being very uncunning, very bad at the whole lying thing. I think it's not that bad. I mean, of course, the second time you play through and you know Hakan is him, the signs are obvious, but first time it can actually be fairly surprising. It's like that that movie,
So
The Secret Window. But I'm not gonna spoil that one. But what it boils down to is, oh, it's a boss. It's not nice. We have extra health, fast, electrified, and vortex. That's not too bad. I've seen worse. Fast just means he can move faster, which I can compensate for by just hitting him with arcane damage. Now these dervishes, they have this this whirling attack which does a lot of damage, so that's something to look out for. Aside from that though, as you saw, that was not a very difficult encounter. But yeah, anyway, in many movies where you've got a plot twist at the very end and it turns out the good guy is really the bad guy, or the bad guy is really the good guy, anything along those lines. the second time you watch through those movies, often enough you will suddenly see the signs and you'll think it was obvious, but the first time you might miss it, and that's really what matters. It seems unfair to judge it by what was I gonna say? Yeah, to judge the level of his cunning after you know what his plan is. That seems silly. What I find a lot more annoying about him is the fact that he keeps telling you his plans through those messengers. But still, he's, in my mind, not half as bad as Asmodan is. Now, with Asmodan, I actually agree with some of the criticism against him being a master strategist, supposedly, because he keeps telling you his plans. Which, well, I guess that's the one annoying thing about some of the bad guys, especially Asmodan. No matter how much you spoil his plans, he keeps telling you his next plan, and then when that fails and you defeat whatever else he has just thrown at you, he just keeps saying, "Oh, that was a meaningless victory, I have more in store, and here's what it is." And, "Oh, you may have killed the demons I sent into the fortress, but there's ballistas and siege weapons outside, and you're never going to defeat these." And then when you do that, he's going to say, "Well, you may have destroyed my siege weapons, but I never needed those."
Quiet, or I will rip your tongue from your mouth. You fool! You think you can save this man? You have sealed your fate.
Such insolence must be punished.
Fairly certain I can save this man, in fact. Sometimes these merchants appear in the game where you have to do a bit of a quest, like a mini quest for them, to save them or help them or gain their allegiance, whatever, and then they sell stuff. And they usually have one rare item.
That you have saved me. I'd be happy to allow you the privilege of buying them instead.
No thank you, I'll just take the repairs. That particular item is not very good. They never have really good items, but on your first playthroughs, they might actually have stuff that interests you. Okay, what do we have here? Okay, a missile dampening thing. Oh no, it's a key warden! You know, one of those guys that can very rarely drop those valuable keys? Well, he's one of them. I don't think he dropped it though. Nope. They are apparently very rare, so yeah, hopes of getting them are low. Okay, a staff, which is actually fairly nice, but it gives dexterity and strength. If those two were some intelligence and crit damage stuff,
we must be swift.
That would be a lot better. Yeah, I was gonna talk about the story a little bit because I kinda lost myself there. Basically that's Black Soulstone. The plan is to put them all inside, but in order to, I think, find it or be able to use it, we need...
too good to be true.
Oh my!
Okay, some hard-coded boss encounter again.
They should have chosen their prey more carefully.
Indeed so. We basically need the help of a guy called Zoltan Kuhl, who was a... I think he was a Radrim as well? Or a Nephilim, I don't know. He was some ancient powerful guy, but he kind of turned a little bit extreme in his experiments, so he was locked away. But he made that Soulstone, so he is gonna be necessary to be able to use that thing.
We taught them a lesson.
But because he was killed and locked away and stuff, we kinda need to find all the bits and pieces of him. Okay, here's a boss group. What do we have? Avenger, Jailer, Desecrator, and Fast. That's not too bad. And these, they look a bit like they've got that blue aura about them, but they don't. They're just blue in color. See, a hand crossbow. Again, nothing fancy here, and a die bow. Now you see again, strength and intelligence. If that were, say, vitality and dexterity, that would be a lot better. Which is the frustrating thing about farming items in this game, I find. You get something that looks really cool, but then one or two of the stats are so out of place that it makes the whole thing worthless. So I'm meant to find Forgotten Ruins, which is a random side dungeon, I believe. And yeah, there you saw, I did no damage at all to that thing while it was invisible. Which means all I can really do is sit and wait, which doesn't really fully agree with my usual tactics. Alright, let's see. Apparently I haven't found the place yet. Otherwise it would kind of be marked on the map. I do enjoy the slowing down effect on the arcane damage, on the arcane attacks now. Seems to me to be a very valuable passive skill if you use arcane damage, especially if you use Disintegrate that can AoE slow down whole hordes of enemies coming at you and buy you very valuable time. These birds, by the way, if you come into the area where they hover, they will kind of follow you around, but they will only attack if you fight something else or if your health is decreased somehow. So usually they will wait until you're either engaged fighting something else to make that encounter more difficult, or if you stand too close to one of these poisonous plants here. I'll show you. They do poison damage, 11,000 roughly at the moment, which is nasty. Or it can be nasty. And basically when you stand too close to them, you take that damage, and that will also make the birds come down. Otherwise they'll just fly over you and wait until you're vulnerable, basically. Doesn't really work out that way, but... I guess if you have a lot of them accumulated and you're struggling a bit, try to trigger one of the flowers and heal yourself quickly afterwards. Okay, I'm kind of lost as to where I need to go. Now this is just a random imp area in the middle, so I don't think it's going to be there. Guess I'll have to be more thorough. But yeah, you can use these flowers to basically trigger the birds coming down, and then that'll help. Okay. I'm beginning to suspect I'm supposed to go through this area, but I seem to remember this first one being a dungeon. Not in a new area, but in this one. All else fails, I'm gonna have to put that imp thing in the middle because it might be there, but I don't remember that being the case. I guess there's nothing for it but to check the other side of the map as well. Usually though, those flowers, by the way, you've got well enough time to steer clear of them. And there it is.
Seems a likely place to hide the head of a deranged sorcerer.
Yeah, I don't get the point of these jokes, they're not very funny at all. Now sometimes the disintegration ray is a little bugged where it only hits like about a meter before you and it kind of goes into the ground. I don't know why it does that, but it's a bit tedious. What do we have down here? Shock Guardians. Okay, Jailer, Fire Chains, extra health, and Frozen. That's not too bad.
Get back! Do you see that enemy over there? Let us cleanse it from this land.
The slowing effect kind of neutralized these guys very well. And we get 3 unique items. Or not unique, rare items. They're called uniques in Torchlight, so I might have made that mistake before and I might make it again. It happens. Okay, this is the first time I find a shield with more than 1000 armor. That's nice. Aside from that, though, it's not that good. I mean, if I ever play Barbarian, he's probably gonna be dual wielding or carrying a two-hander, so... Now, again, look at these attribute bonuses. They're massive, but... It is a nice weapon, but it's two-handed, and dexterity and intelligence... not the best of combos. Okay, these gloves on the other hand are actually interesting. Critical hit chance and damage increased. And magic find. And some intelligence. Of course not enough to counteract the damage loss from the 244 on my Gleaming Snare. But this is actually a good item. I'll keep that in case I ever wanna, I guess, make another mage. I don't know. I'll keep it because it's nice. And I so rarely find nice uniques or rares.
This is difficult. Everything worth doing is.
So yeah, apparently Aja is now offering to train Leah in her secret powers because Aja knows she's the daughter of Diablo. And that gives her special powers, and Aja kinda wants to train her, I guess, so that she's going to be a better vessel for Diablo. Okay, and again, what do we have? Knockback, Fire Chains, Molten, and Health Link. Now again, I do not know what the Health Link does. I believe it means that if I damage one of them, the others get damaged as well. Which I would consider a weakness, not a strength, so I might be wrong on that. But yeah, as I said before, Health Link is usually one of those which you can pretty much ignore. It doesn't do much.
I am so good, I astound myself.
And these large skeleton groups, they're only difficult if you have no AoE. Whereas if you do, especially something as powerful as my Disintegration Ray, these guys are very good for farming experience from getting the bonus experience for monster kills. And as you can see, I'm now approaching Paragon level 6, yes. And I got some gloves, which are not that bad. I never really liked the health globe bonus,
How
but...
do you know? Intuition.
Intuition. Now again, this is actually nice. It does dexterity bonus, which is not bad, and damage dealt converted to life is also good for a monk. So I think I'll keep this for potential future monks. The crossbow again, I guess this would be useful for the scoundrel because he can use them, but I don't use the scoundrel. Yeah, but that was actually fitting attributes on that staff. Now the item level wasn't that high, so it's not valuable in any way, but 200 dexterity will give a nice damage boost to a monk.
Your defenses are nothing.
So against these fire guardians, which I spoke of earlier, try to avoid standing in the fire which they spit. And what you also get down here are these guardian towers. They summon these spiderling things. So as with anything that summons more, you should try to get them down fast so they can't keep summoning. I think this is gonna be a dead end. I might be wrong though. So yeah, there we have a poison one. The color coding is fairly straightforward on these things, it's just the usual. Okay, there's a boss. Shielding Nightman. What else did he have? Fast and Frozen. That's not too bad. Shielding, as I said, it can be a bit annoying. But it's mostly a question of timing. So against a shielding enemy, obviously, you don't want to you don't want to go all out in your damage just as he's put up his shield. And there I go, Paragon level 6. So the best way to avoid doing that is just wait until he's got until he's just dropped his shield, and then it's got a certain cooldown on it. He can't maintain it or anything like that, so wait until it's down and then start wailing on the guy. Now I had an item before which decreased the cost of disintegrate, which was nice. I don't have that anymore. Here we have a guardian guy, and since he's an ancient Horagic construct, I would guess that the Horadrim are the ones which sealed Zoltan Fool in here. Now again, he's hard-coded, but he's actually got quite a lot of health, so
I've been healed.
don't take him too easily. He does pack a decent punch. Oh wait, we need to talk to Aja in the secret camp, so town portal seems to be in order. And also I will cut here and I'll see you in the next episode.